3:03 p.m. I'm trying to make sure I say all of the things I need to say. We're in the Utah State Charter School Board meeting. Today is July 12th, 2023, and we are meeting in the basement west at the USBE offices just for a brief discussion about a single item that we would like to take care of today. So welcome to all of you. I hope you're having a wonderful July, as we had all that rain and snow earlier and plenty of water this year, and now we're in heat. It is hot outside. We're in our 90s, which usually happens in July, so it's not a big surprise. Hope everyone had a wonderful 4th, and in Utah we have a double celebration in the month of July, so we also get our 24th of July commemorating the 1847, our Days of 47 activities as well. So we get two wonderful opportunities to meet. So we do not have today a flag in this room, so we're going to skip Pledge of Allegiance, but know that on this patriotic month, that we also are very supportive together as a group of our country and the work that we are able to do because we reside in this free nation, and we are grateful for it. We don't have anyone who would like to make public comment today, so we will skip that as well. We'll go directly to our one business item, which is a small expansion process. And and with us today, I'm also going to know that to recognize AAG Olson is with us here today and has at this anchor site. Chair Bowles at the anchor site, Vice Chair Phillips at the anchor site, and online our member Spiker, member Bassett, member Olson. We believe also member Cisneros will be joining us momentarily, so that we have our full quorum here for this discussion. And from our team, Ms. Stephenson has worked on this issue with Vice Chair Phillips. So I'm going to turn time to Vice Chair Phillips to give us an explanation of why we're meeting today and what we would like to discuss.
Well, our meeting today is primarily because of a timing issue on an important action item for our board that will particularly remove barriers to some of our schools who have been kind of waiting and watching for the new process for asking for a small expansion to come up on our website and to be available to them so that they can meet the deadlines that are established in board rule. So in essence, what has happened is that the Utah State Board of Education, in response to a push from the State Charter School Board about a year ago, as well as their own recognition of kind of a rule that was clunky, and in response to kind of a push from the Administrative Rules Committee at the legislative level, has updated R277552, and this is a board rule that's related that establishes guidelines for charter school authorizers for approving satellites and expansions. And typically, all authorizers, as a result of that rule, are required to provide processes for those satellites and expansions in terms of procedures and applications that fall in line with Utah State Board of Education rule. That is because the legislature requires the state board to, in certain instances, to essentially approve the processes for authorizers for certain types of things. Another one that they approve would be, for instance, new school applications, that process. So we have time in future meetings, and therefore we will not be discussing in this meeting the process and application for approving, considering big expansions and satellites. We will do that in upcoming meetings in case there are charter school directors and other stakeholders listening. We will do that in upcoming meetings so that our charter schools who are thinking about that will have time to engage in that process before the deadlines pass for those processes. The process that we're concerned about are the tiny expansions. These expansions are typically for students, a school asking for students under 50 in number, for adding a single grade, or other similar small expansions that do not require construction or are not, don't require, frankly, a lot of other sorts of procedures and processes to kick in that are related. These are very simple, straightforward expansion requests. And our new process for these small expansions would need to be approved today, assuming that our board is interested in doing that, in order for that process to then be sent to the State Board of Education's Law and Licensing Committee next week, and then with approval from that committee or a positive recommendation to the full Utah State Board of Education for their consideration in August. That would give our schools time to apply for during the next month or so, and for us to consider those applications in our September board meeting. Those small expansions, unlike the big ones or the satellites, need to be approved before the October 1 deadline, because those small expansions take effect the following school year. And we are, in order to be courteous to the State Board of Education, its financial department, and other processes and procedures at the State Board of Education level, those departments need to know of those small expansions coming for funding purposes and other purposes. Unlike the small expansions, big expansions do not take effect for approximately a year and a half. And so there will be ample time to consider those later and to allow for our board to take more time on a more complex process. So we are hoping that with the timeline that I've described, and understanding that we have at least a handful of schools that we know about, and perhaps others we do not know about, who are eagerly awaiting the opportunity to apply for the small expansion in time for us to hear that application and consider it in our September board meeting, we therefore called this, Chair Bowles called this meeting so that we could be responsive to our schools and their needs, and ensure that we personally as a board, as a group, as a collective, were not standing in the way of our schools needing to make decisions, take steps that will improve their students' experience, improve, in some cases, the financial situation of our schools, improve program and other things for which they are asking these small expansions. Chair?
Thank you so much. And so my process is going to be this today, just that quick little clarification, allow Ms. Stephenson, who works with these folks, mostly the schools requesting, and see if there's anything you'd like to add. And then let's answer any questions, clarify anything any of our board members need clarified before we proceed beyond that. But just as a reminder, this is to change our current process in line with changes of rule, and it allows us to change our process at least to submit to the state board committees and for the state board's consideration to verify. So just our vote alone today won't do it, but it enables the process to continue. They can then, if they choose, approve this new process for small expansions, and then we will still have opportunity to consider those small expansions if we were to approve today. If the state board approves that process, we still have opportunity on a future date to look at individual requests for small expansions. So it doesn't automatically make that happen, but it gives us the process or the opportunity to do it. So let me go to Ms. Stephenson first, and then any of our board members who have questions, want questions, clarifications, any of your discussion, we'll go from there. Ms. Stephenson.
Thank you, Chair Bowles. And as you mentioned, this is a new process for us, where previously the board rule did not call out small expansion separately. Before it was all under the name of expansion. And so I think that is an important thing to note, that we now have small expansion and large expansion. And so that will be an important difference that our schools and our board will need to make sure that we're aware of when we are talking about expansion, that a small expansion exists and then a large expansion is something separate, as Vice Chair Phillips did a great job explaining that. The documents that we have that are in our board folder and in UCAP are a policy, a procedure, and then an application that we are proposing to move forward. We thought that getting all three of those put together for the board to review as part of our process would really help make sure that our documents are consistent with one another and that the authorizing committee has reviewed those over the course of the month and provided feedback on them and has essentially said that they were okay with it moving to our full board today. Just by way of note, the policy really is there to reiterate the board rule and the state statute and to remind the board and staff what the expectations are as defined in the board rule. The procedure outlines what's going to then be in the application and also some things that may make it so that a school would be ineligible to receive a small expansion. And in case there were questions on that, the things that we were proposing that would perhaps make a school ineligible would be if there was ongoing remediation from USBE, corrective action plan from USBE, if a school was in state turnaround with the USBE, if the school was on a system of support with the USBE, or if they were receiving comprehensive support and improvement with the USBE. We also included if there was a determination by the SCSB of a warning or a probation status. So you'll notice that we did not include a notice of concern as a factor to turn a school away at that point. That was to align with some of the conversations that we've had over the past few years that a notice of concern should simply be a notice and not a punitive measure. And so we have tried to address that within the procedure that we are proposing. And then the application is perhaps, I think, one of the most exciting things. We went really well aligned to what's in the board rule and also keeping in mind the plan and the conversations that have occurred around less reporting and less cumbersome requirements for schools. And so we're happy to share that the application is down to 1 page. And that where this one is really straightforward with the definition and where we felt like if approved, those items as far as what would make a school not approved for a small expansion, we felt like that was something that staff could check on and that a school didn't need to be worried about that. Really all that we're asking from a school is explain why you need this small expansion, and then of course they'll be invited to come and talk to the board, but that really gives that autonomy and that choice to the board to work with the schools that we authorize and to be able to make those decisions that are in the best interest of students rather than filling out pages and pages of applications. I will also just share on that note too that as Vice Chair Phillips had noted, we do have a handful of schools that have been anxiously waiting on us to get this process started, and so we have given them a preliminary heads up about our anticipated timeline and what we're hoping to accomplish over these next few weeks, and have shared some of the draft documents. And all of the schools that have looked at or we've shared the drafts and the thoughts with have been tremendously excited and very supportive of what we've put together. So I will turn it back to you, Chair Bowles.
Thank you, Ms. Stevenson. And this is a process that you're recommending to us, right? I always want to make sure
Yes, we are recommending this process.
All right, this change of process is a recommendation from our team to better serve schools and for us to, in our role, to support and help schools do the work that they need to do. I'll turn now to board members if they have additional questions, concerns, comments you'd like to make. Member Olson, since I can't see you, just speak up, but I can see Member Spiker and Member Bassett, if you want to indicate. And I don't know if Member Cisneros, are you on with us as well? Okay, at this
Yes,
point.
I'm on.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, so any of you, if you have comments, and then I'll turn my speaker off because I see Ms. Castillo kindly smiling at me to remind me. So after I call on one of you, I'll let you do that. So someone who would like to ask questions or comment about the process before we go forward?
I have one question.
Please, go ahead.
This is Member Cisneros. First, I love this process. I love removing artificial barriers. I'm grateful for staff's work on this. One clarification, if USBE had commented or had thoughts on, we had a section in there that said they could add a single grade. Did anybody have any reservations on if the grade changed the funding band? So for example, a K through 8 wanted to add a 9th grade, that would change the funding band for that school's eligibility. Did USBE offer any critique on that? Do we have any concerns?
Member Stephenson, please. I mean, yeah, Marie, please, go ahead.
Someday. Thank you. There has not been any critique given on that, and currently in the approved rule that went into effect in May, it already lists a single grade as an option that a school has.
Good. Yeah, let's make sure that Member Cisneros, does that respond to your question? I'm thinking it might. And if you are muted, we can't hear you at this minute. But if not, I'm going to turn to Vice Chair Phillips.
Sorry, trying to do this on my phone.
That's
Yes,
all right.
that-
You're
That's
superstar
totally
for
fine.
jumping
If
in with us
USBE doesn't
today,
care, I
so-
don't care.
So thank you. I have Vice Chair Phillips comment, and then if you have any additional clarification, please share. We want everyone to have opportunity to ask.
I was just going to say, and I'm sure Member Cisneros knows anyway, but just for the record, that it often happens that in order to align with the district of residence, a charter school will pop into that different band, and it has, in the past at least, been supported by our board as well as the State Board of Education, because it does make it easier for families, and I think they're able to manage that, without too much trouble.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Any additional, Member Cisneros? If I'm not hearing something, I'm thinking.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Member Spiker, Bassett, Olson, anything that you would like to clarify, comments, questions?
Member Olson here. Nothing from me. I'm supportive of the proposal. I agree with Member Cisneros' comments.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right.
That is same for me. Nothing else to add.
Thank you so much. All right, then are we ready for a motion? It sounds like if we have no additional comments, we may be ready for a motion. Would someone like to offer a motion today?
Ms. Bassett, I didn't hear Member Bassett.
Well, I'm thinking that Member Bassett, if she had something she wanted to add, would have done that.
Okay.
I don't want to skip you if you're trying to, Member Bassett, to add, but if not, all right. Okay, so would someone like to make a motion?
I'll motion to approve the small expansion request process.
Thank you. So a motion to support this change of process, it's a new process, and that was Member Cisneros' motion. A second to that motion?
I can second.
And a
This is Member
second from
Spiker.
Member Spiker. So motion from Member Cisneros, and I'm practicing, making sure I'm saying all the right people. So Vice Chair and Member Spiker, a second to that motion. Any additional discussion relative to that motion? All right, hearing none. Should we do a roll call vote since we're remotely working too? We should probably do that. So let's see, I'll do either, you're going to say yay or nay to the motion of changing the process. So Member Spiker,
Yay.
Member Bassett,
Yay.
Member Olson,
I vote yes.
and Member Cisneros.
Yay.
And Vice Chair Phillips?
Yay.
All right, that motion passes unanimously. We have, we are proposing a new policy. We have adopted new policy, which now Vice Chair Phillips and Ms. Stevenson will take immediately to forward. So just by coincidence, the Law and Legislative Committee is meeting this next week with the USBE committee, and they need to review it, and they can get it to USBE upon their, following their process. We can submit that language to them for their consideration, and they anticipate that we might have a proposal for them to consider, and potentially we can, prior to October 1, so our August, probably our September meeting, I would suspect, because August will be pretty busy, but our September meeting, we could consider expansion requests from individual schools. So thank you all so much for contributing today and being a part of this so that we could move forward. This is really an exciting opportunity for schools and for the work they do, and just kind of remove some barriers so that they can do the work that they know they need to do. So I only need one additional motion then.
We don't seem to have Member Smith here to give it.
I know.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, there we go. Member Spiker steps up to the plate. Thank you. And a motion to adjourn. This meeting is now adjourned at 3:25 p.m. And have a nice rest of your July and the 1st of August. We'll see everyone back here August 10th for our next meeting. So thank you all for jumping in today, last minute and quickly. We so appreciate it. Thank you all. We're
Thanks,
done.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.